What do you make of the assertion that the seed in Genesis 3:15 somehow is an allusion to Jesus' destiny to destroy Satan?
I don't get Christians here. I really don't. Genesis 3:15, God is addressing all the partners in crime, right? The man, the woman, the serpent. And we are told that there will be enmity, hatred, between the descendants of the woman, who will be called Eve, because she's the mother of mankind, and the serpent. While the serpent will be able to bite at the heel of man, which certainly can cause an injury, man, the descendants of Eve, can crush the head of the serpent, which would be fatal, a fatal injury. That means you can destroy sin if you wish. And in case you think this is like some kind of homily that I'm like adding in, and this is like I'm just being fancy and creative, this is explicitly repeated very soon after in Genesis 4, verse 6 and 7, where Cain, in a conversation with God, is told that, look, sin is hiding behind the door. You're the object of his desire, but you can master over him. Where Christians go with this is that, well, this really is speaking about Jesus. I mean, there's no mention of the Messiah, none of that. And the Messiah's job is to destroy the devil, to destroy Satan. What I'd like to do here is I'd like to just do something that's counterintuitive and say, I grant it all. If you believe then that, then all your work is ahead of you. Because as it turns out, if the role of the Messiah is, let's say I just grant it all, and it's not discussing that, but let's say I grant that. It's not there, and it's your homily, it's your spin on this passage. Please read Genesis 3:15 for yourself. That can there be a greater proof that Jesus is not the Messiah than Genesis 3:15? That means if I grant everything, I concede it all. Genesis 3:15 really is an allusion to the Messiah, and when the Messiah comes, sin will come to an end. And incidentally, sin will come to an end in the Messianic age. Well, did Jesus destroy Satan? No. Now, you remember in The Passion of the Christ, Melvin Gibson's film, the snake is stepped on. Why? That's why he threw that in there. But he didn't destroy Satan. Satan is like, look around. Like, look where, I live in Jerusalem. The devil is doing great. Look at the last century. The last century, the bloodiest wars in human history. Need I tell you that Satan is doing terrific? What effect did Jesus have on destroying Satan? You may say, well, Satan has been destroyed for believers. I know Christians say, well, no. In fact, Paul says that Satan hindered us. Well, Paul was definitely a Christian, right? So if I grant you that somehow Genesis 3:15 is an allusion to the Messiah, fine. What you're doing is you're making your problems worse. I'm old enough to remember Watergate, which was the biggest deal. It was the biggest, craziest deal in the world. Imagine Watergate. Like now, the news is about, I don't need to tell you, but that was the big thing. And the big thing was the cover-up. And I remember my mom saying, be careful about the cover-up. So I say this to the defenders of Christianity. If you engage in this kind of spurious misquoting and assigning all kinds of meaning, you're entitled to have homilies. But you can't use that as an apologetic. That's the problem. I just want to make that point. It's not that Jews don't do homilies, but you can't use that as an apologetic, and that's what's wrong about this. If you Christians want to have a homily that this really is an allusion to the Messiah, you're welcome to do it. But you can't, it's not an apologetic because I don't buy your premise. But what I'm sharing with you is if I grant your homily, you have just demonstrated that the core tenet of the Christian religion is completely fatuous. Anyways, thank you for your question. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי